You know things are rough when even Marvel fans aren't watching Marvel shows anymore. And not because they're bad. Okay, some are. But because there's just too much. Everything's connected, everything's canon, and everything feels like homework. And nowhere is that more obvious than in Marvel's animated projects. Be honest, do you even know how many seasons of What If are there? Exactly.
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 So, today we're diving deep into a question I've had for a really long time. Why don't Marvel's animated projects actually land well? And more importantly, how can they actually fix this mess? I love the MCU. In spite of this, and this buttload of shit. I've loved this universe since Iron Man dropped in 2008, and I'm still backing it. But let's face it, the biggest reason for Marvel's success is now the bane of its existence.
Interconnectivity.
Everything connects to everything, and it's seriously exhausting at this stage. Even a die-hard MCU fan like me hasn't had the strength to watch Ironheart yet. And now let's zoom into the Disney Plus era for a bit. When Lord Bob Chapek decided, let's fill the platform with as much content as possible.
You hear me, cocksuckers? You better start shitting me perfect 400s.
Don't slow down.
Pick it up! Faster! 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 Keep playing! Keep playing! Keep playing!
And so began Marvel's streaming assembly line of pure mediocrity. For every WandaVision, we got an Echo. For every Moon Knight, we got a She-Hulk. And for every Loki and Hawkeye, we got this buttload of shit. But even when these shows were bad, people still talked about them. But Marvel's animated projects? Nobody cares when they release, who's in them, or if they even matter to the larger MCU. And that's been bugging me. Like, seriously, why? Especially when these shows should have been MCU's playground. Like, animation lets you do things that even CGI can't. Yet, instead of feeling bold or imaginative, these shows just feel off. Like something about them just doesn't click. So let's break down what's really going wrong, and let's start with the most obvious: the way they look. Marvel's animation looks expensive, but it moves cheap. When What If first dropped, I was like, this actually looks cool. And 4 years later, that same shiny pseudo 3D style just feels very stale. The stills look glorious, but once things move, then there's a problem. The motion's clunky, the fight choreography just feels robotic, and the emotions just don't land. It's almost like watching mannequins reenact the MCU. Meanwhile, Sony's Spider-Verse films have really pushed the boundaries and broken rules of style left, right, and center. Those animated movies have style, they've got substance, just because the visuals actually serve the story. And here in Marvel animation, it just feels like the animation is just serving the brand style guide. And even if you forgive the visuals for a second, what's left? Weak writing, forgettable plots, and zero stakes. Again, let's take What If as an example. Literally a series about hypothetical situations that didn't actually happen in the MCU. Cool premise, right? But most episodes feel like they were just picked out of the trash bin from the MCU writer's room. Sure, a few gems exist. That Doctor Strange Supreme episode is my absolute favorite. And then the episode where Hank Pym kills the Avengers, I really enjoyed that episode as well. But the rest? What if we just did the same things over and over again and just make them progressively worse? And the problem's not just with What If. Eyes of Wakanda adds nothing to Wakanda's already rich lore. I Am Groot is a little piece of fun, but it's inconsequential. Even X-Men 97 and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man just exist in their own little bubbles. And Marvel keeps telling us everything is connected. But in the animation space, does anything really connect to anything? Now, here's the real kicker. These shows don't even know who they're actually meant for. They're too dark for kids, they're too shallow for adults, and they're too bloody irrelevant for die-hard MCU fans like myself. Really, it's a full-blown identity crisis here. Now just compare this to the guys over at DC Animation Studios. They've been consistent for decades, distinct tone, strong writing, clear audience. Even their latest shows like Harley Quinn, The Caped Crusader, and Creature Commandos know exactly who they're talking to. Meanwhile, Marvel's animated shows, they're like a kitchen sink, throwing everything in and hoping something sticks. But sadly, nothing really does. Now, here's a big one that no one really seems to talk about. Marvel has spent millions getting live action stars to voice these animated characters. Chris Hemsworth, Benedict Cumberbatch, Haley Atwell, all reprising their roles from MCU in cartoons. And for what? It's not like people were really tuning in because of their voices. Like, animation shouldn't really be about mimicking live action. In a way, it should be an extension of comics and bringing those glorious comics to life. The millions that they spent on the stars could have and should have gone to top tier talent, whether it's your animators, your writers, or your voice actors. Studios like Axis and others are really struggling to keep up, reporting of bankruptcy, burnout, and just constantly trying to keep up with extremely tight deadlines. Meanwhile, Marvel's budget goes to A-listers recording dialogue sitting in their pajamas. And here's a bit of reality check if I'm being brutally honest. Certain stories are just better suited to animation. Just imagine for a second, if you will, if Secret Invasion had actually been adapted as an animated series rather than the buttload of shit that we got. You could have actually had a multi-season political thriller crossing paths with every MCU character possible without blowing half your budget on Nick Fury's leather jacket. Animation could have really done justice to the shape-shifting, the scale, and the paranoia. Instead, we got the worst, the lamest, the most forgettable show in MCU history. Like, seriously, if that money had actually been spent on quality animation, this would be a totally different conversation. Okay, so I touched upon it at the beginning of this video, but I really gotta dive a little deeper into it now. Marvel's downfall started when they blindly started signing off on projects for Disney Plus. In trying to flush their catalog with as much Marvel as they could, they just hammered the audience's excitement levels. Like, losing Iron Man and Captain America at the end of Endgame was already tough. But instead of slowing down to rebuild, Marvel decided to flood us with tier 2 and tier 3 characters, and that too in animation. That's not a bold strategy. That's just content chaos. It's quantity over quality, and the fans have been feeling it since. So, how can Marvel fix this? Here's my humble management degree certified advice. Come on, guys. My parents paid a lot of money and I studied really hard for a really long time to get this piece of paper. So let me just put it to good use, will you? Fewer projects, higher quality. Focus on the product. Focus on your story, focus on the quality of your animation, and really build robust marketing campaigns that build anticipation. Don't give us anthologies that just feel disposable. Like, maybe focus your attention on building one strong animated series with maybe multiple seasons. Explore the characters, go into deeper arcs, and let these shows stand on their own. And of course, spend smarter. Money respects those who respect money. Reel in top talent, bring in great voice actors, established animators, even bring in your comic writers and your comic artists to especially help with the production design and the script for these shows, and to kind of create like a core group that really knows these characters inside out and have a very clear vision of how that world is supposed to look. So, Marvel, please spend smarter, invest in real talent. And like, if DC, Amazon, and Netflix can deliver iconic, legendary animated shows, sure as hell Marvel and Disney can do it too. So that was my take, guys. But I'm really interested in knowing, what do you think? What went wrong with Marvel animation in your opinion? And can Disney actually fix this content stream? Or is animation just another casualty of MCU mediocrity? Please drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, share this video with your gang, and subscribe to TMB for the latest and best in pop culture.
You hear me, cocksuckers? You better start shitting me perfect 400s.
Until next time, this is the Millennial Bard signing off.